Hello and welcome to episode 179 of Cantinho Benfiquista podcast. As always, I'm your host, Mike. I have with me today, at the moment, Kenny, and I have Bill. I forgot to mention, episode 179, A Slow Start, is your title for today. Jason and Oscar should be jumping in shortly. I'm going to start from left to right here. Kenny, welcome back. It's been a chaotic couple of months.
Chaotic summer for sure.
New home, bachelor parties. We got Oscar back. Hold on, let me fix the layout here. So I'm going to start with Kenny. Like I said, how does it feel to be back, Kenny?
Good. It's been a while. It's definitely been a chaotic summer, but hey, the season started and here I am. So
yeah, you showed up on time too.
New Kenny.
Yeah, new season, new Kenny. Shut up on time. I'm gonna go over to Oscar. Welcome back, Oscar. How was you weren't here last week? No, this is your first one of the season.
Yeah, I was actually thinking, I'm like, is this my first time doing it this year or this season? I think it is. But well, it's glad to be back with you guys, you fellows, and enjoy another season. Hopefully this one is a winning season, but like you said in the title, slow start.
It's not how you start, it's how you finish, right?
Exactly.
Bill, welcome back. Second one of the season. How are we feeling after?
A little less frustrated than the first pod, but still pretty frustrated. So
that's fair. We'll get into it. Quickly, we got César da Silva. Abraço para ti, César. Tiago, boa noite, Maltinho. Boa noite. Acho que é bom dia para ti, se não estou errado. Don't forget to join the conversation if you're tuning in, whatever platform you're on. Leave us your comments. Leave us your feedback. How are you feeling? Frustrations, annoyances. I'm sure there's plenty that are out there. So don't forget to participate. Make this interactive with us. Para a malta que esteja em português. Quarta-feira temos o podcast em português moderado pelo Luís, mas hoje estão à vontade de participar aqui conosco. Deixem os vossos comentários, as vossas opiniões estão à vontade. Todos falamos português, por isso estejam à vontade. E desde já abraço para todos. We will also leave a link in the comments after, and they'll be across the bottom as well for you who are feeling like it, can call in with audio only, or you can join with your video as well, and you can join the conversation and rant or join this therapy session, however you want to look at it. So today we're going to talk about Benfica 3-0 Casa Pia. First win of the season, second match of the season. Finally got 3 points, important 3 points. It was looking a little bit dodgy for 65 minutes or so until we finally broke the deadlock, 70 minutes to be exact. We'll talk about the fans again. Some chaos in the stadium. There was fans fighting behind one of the goals. There was a moment in the what minute was it? 64th minute when João Mario comes off the field. There was a lot of contesting and booing, so we'll talk about that. And we'll talk about uncertainty still in the squad with the transfer market still open. And with that, Jason has joined us. Jason, welcome back. First one of the new season. How are you feeling?
It's good to be back. Get to chat with the boys. So far, we haven't had a good start overall.
So far, so good.
For me, it's been going.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes very shit.
Yeah. Sometimes good, sometimes
shit. So.
Yeah. Jason was away on his bachelor party, so we're gonna give him the excuse. Yeah, he's still recovering. Him and Kenny are still recovering from that. Cool. So we'll give them the excuse. Oscar, I'll start with you. What is your take on this game? And just quickly, I'm going to run through the starting 11 here, which weren't many changes, but we started with Trubin, Ba, Tomás Araújo. Tony Silva comes in for Morato at the heart of the defense. Best on the left-hand side. Auschwitz, Tino, Barreiro in the middle. João Mario on the right. Prestiani behind Pavlidis. The only change that was made from the Famalicão match was Antonio Silva coming in. Di Maria was hurt. There were some uncertainties of whether or not João Mario would start on the right or if he would bring in someone more offensive. He didn't. He just made one change. What were your thoughts on the lineup and then thoughts on the game?
All right. So My thing is, and I'm like you guys all know, I'm not I don't defend Roger Schmidt whatsoever, right? But in
He's
this
coming in hot already.
no, I don't
You
defend
didn't
him.
last a minute. He's mentioning
No,
it already.
I'm
No,
actually gonna give him props.
no,
I'm
no.
not
I know.
gonna
I wanted to highlight it.
No.
His
No,
fifth
I'm-
word. His
my
fifth word.
my thing is he didn't have many options to change that lineup. All right. The only thing that I thought he did bad was put almost 2 defensive midfielders playing, which
Fair.
if he took one out playing at home against Casa Pia would have been a Coxu in from the start. To me, that would have been the most like noticeable change that I would do. But João Mario on the right, who would you put? Gouveia in from the start when Gouveia has had a preseason that's been below par. He's playing right back most of the time.
Yep.
Right. So Gouveia came in hot and changed the whole game, but that wouldn't justify what the preseason he had. Like you wouldn't know that from the preseason he had, right? So João Mario was probably the only choice he had to play in that position, unless you put Coxu on the right side. That could possibly be another one.
Cristiani moves over.
You could
to
put
the right.
Cristiani out on the wide and then
Correct. And to me, would have been
Marcos Leonardo.
Yeah, that could have been another change. But I think
Yeah.
I think the 2 Trincos was the biggest mistake he had. Like I think playing at home against Casa Pia, who hasn't had a good preseason, the losses after losses, I think we should have been more offensive, less defensive at home. Not against the first game with the stadium full with our fans. I think we should have been more attacking minded, right? But to me, it would have been what that Trinco would be the only change to me, and put in a Coxu in, or like Bill said, a Leonardo and a Cristiani on the right side, right? That would have been but to me, like he didn't have many options. There's a lot of guys that are hurt. So like Benfica dominated the game. Like the possession was like, it wasn't wasn't a good first half. I think the first half was kind of slow for Benfica. And once we made those little changes, and people say, oh, once he took out João Mario, the game changed. No, it's once he took out the Trinco. He took out one Trinco, made the game go forward. Yep. That's what he did, and I think he should have done from the start.
Fair. Bill, what would you add to that?
No, I agree, and I think we touched on this last podcast with me and you, Mike, where I thought in the preseason, right, when he played with the double Trinco, we saw that, yes, we could keep possession, but creating opportunities was limited, right? Those guys that's not their skill set, right? Their skill set, win the ball, keep it, move it. And I agree with what Oscar said. I think if we had started with a Coxu playing alongside Tino, even with João Mario out wide, I think we would have looked a lot different because Coxu was going to move the ball a lot better than Tino or Barreiro can. And my prediction for the lineup was with Cristiani out wide and having either Coxu at the 10 or play real offensive and go Coxu in the 8 role and then Marcos Leonardo at that 10 role. And that gives you a ton of creativity, a ton of options going forward. But I agree. I think with those guys in there, we didn't look bad. We kept possession, right? We were creating half chances, if that. But I agree. The game completely changed when Roger made the subs, and everyone will say, well, those are the obvious subs, but I mean, he made them at the right time, and they came in. I mean, they were obvious. Gouveia to me wasn't obvious, right? That one.
I don't think that was as obvious.
Right. I was a little surprised that he brought him in.
I think like I wouldn't have expected him to bring him in, but I get it, right? He was the really only winger on the bench.
Yeah. And he came in, and credit to him, he
changed the game.
Goal and an assist, right? He was one on the cross. Yeah, he won us the game. And Coxu came in, and just his passing ability, that ball that to Freddie on was it the third goal? I think it was. Yeah, that ball. I mean, there's not many players on our team that are going to pick that ball out from. He was like 30, 40 yards away, and he put it on a dime. So I think it was a slow start from us, right? Not having the creativity going forward limits what we can do. And I was hopeful that Roger would have made a few more changes in the lineup, but I think at the end of the day, he made the right subs, and those subs came in and had a huge impact. And we'll see if he, as Oscar said, learns from his mistakes, and see if next game we have maybe a Cristiani out wide or Coxu starting, because I think those guys have the ability and the creativity to change games. And just limiting us when we have 2 Trincos is it's going to kill us, right? Because we can't expect to make changes in the 60th minute every game and come out with a result. Like it worked this time, but last season there was plenty of times where he waited till the 60th, 70th minute and the changes didn't.
Last year was until the 80th minute, 85th minute.
Yeah, last year he waited quite a bit in most cases, which was frustrating. Jay, before I go to you, I'm going to go to Kenny quickly. The sub that he made in the 11 was at the heart of defense, which is an area of the field that you're familiar with. Tony comes in from Morato. Morato's a guy that we've all talked about here. Some like, some don't. Morato started last game against Famalicão. We've talked about he's always got an error in him every game. He had one last game. He put it on a platter to the Famalicão player at the edge of the 6. Unfortunately, they didn't take advantage of it. But as a defender, right, like last year he was out wide, he was central, he was out wide, right? So like he's been moved around a lot, and I got the sense from his body language that he didn't really like playing that left role. Starting the season as the center back and now coming out of the 11 on the second game of the season, like what do you think that does to him? And this is a player that's been at Benfica for a few years, and also a player that has had some interest outside of Benfica, and we've turned that down. So like, what do you think that does to him, even from a confidence perspective?
Yeah, it's definitely going to take an effect on him. And I was going to mention that too, right? Like if they didn't believe in him, they did turn down an offer to let him move on to a different team. But yeah, it's definitely going to take an effect on him. I mean, you start the new season, there's an opportunity for you to take hold of the center back position, and then second game in, you get pulled for another youth player. Essentially, it's not a good situation for him. I don't wish it upon anyone, but it seems like he's kind of just a utility player at this point, based on what they're doing to him. I do like Morato. I don't think he's a terrible player. Maybe he is a backup. Maybe that's all he's going to be. But I wish they would give him a full chance at the center back position, instead of what they did to him last season, moving him around back and forth.
With everyone healthy in our current squad, would you start him?
He's our 4th.
Yeah, I agree with Oscar.
Right.
Yeah. Right. You got Tony, Tomás, Otamendi, and Morato.
I don't think. I mean, we haven't seen enough of Thiago Araújo to be like he's Tomás Araújo to be like he's so much better than Morato. I think Morato still got a little. He's got a little bit of that, like Otamendi attitude, that fire, that Otamendi kind of like fire in him. It's just he does make silly mistakes, like you mentioned the first game that didn't affect us, right? But that was really bad.
He's good for one or two of those a game. Like it just mentally switches off a little bit, and it just
breaks down.
Yeah, which is a problem, right? Like that's that next step that you're expecting from a youth player, and he hasn't taken it yet.
He hasn't been given that full chance at like getting into rhythm.
I get it, but I get at the same time, like last year, right? We gave Tomás Araújo, right? He got
contract another year.
Tomás Araújo had his few chances, and he took them, right? Which then gave him the ability to come into this season as giving him the opportunity to start. And that's the problem when you have so many players, talented players, young players in that spot, like in any position. When you're giving your few opportunities, you need to take them. And he initially took them, but like we touched on, like he got hurt. Yep. And then last year, but he's always been prone to those like mental lapses where it just seems like he switches off for a second or two, and playing back there, you can't really.
I think he had his chance grab. I think he had his chance to grab last year in preseason, and then he got hurt, and then that's when he lost it for Antonio Silva. But if he didn't get hurt, it would have been Otamendi and him. I think for the whole season. But he lost it, and then he came back, and his confidence is shot because he kept playing left back on a position it's not his. And I said it many times, it's going to kill his confidence. Now he looks like he makes a mistake, and he's like all over the place because his confidence. He has to get back.
But does that tell you from a mental perspective that he's not strong enough to be at this level, right? Because I'm going to give the example, and this is an example in a rare case. Not many players are like this, but like Auschwitz. Auschwitz has played in how many positions, right?
But he's always played good.
He's also had some bad games. He's had some bad moments where he played right back or left back and he didn't play as well. Right. But he's constantly moving around, right? And he mentally, he just seems capable of overcoming these things, right? I have to play here. I'm going to do my job. This is what I need to do. And I'm going to get it done. Right. And I get it. Not every player, these are rare scenarios, right? How many times do you see a player like this who can, hey, I need you to play there. Hey, I need you to play there. Right. And he just shows up and does it. You don't see that many cases, but like in Morato's case, I get that he was playing left back, then he was center back, right? He's still playing at the back. Some could argue that playing at the left back position, you at least have more time on the ball, right? You have a little bit more vision into what's in front of you opposed to playing at the center back position. But I agree. Like, I think the injury hurt him, but I also think that mentally, I don't think he's mentally strong enough if these types of things are impacting him in that way that it's really hurting him. It's like a detriment to him. Like, that play against Famalicão was like disastrous. He literally he could have just punted it down the field, and he literally lays it off to the guy at the top of the six. It's just like, what the hell are you doing? Yeah. So I think maybe a mental aspect for him. Jay, do you agree with Bill and Oscar in terms of the 11? Would you have done anything differently? You're muted.
You're mute.
No. Oh.
I think you guys pointed it out where I think the Tino Barreiro matchup in the midfield doesn't work. I think we need to put someone else in there. And I expected that because didn't really play that well overall the first game from what I saw. I saw the first half and then I saw the highlights on the second. And I think could have put a Koksu or, like you guys mentioned before, maybe someone else in the midfield that would be more attacking, maybe Mujo and Mario in the midfield. I think in the wings we needed more speed or someone to go one-on-one to be more creative overall. I think that's where we're missing Di Maria still being hurt and
Rollheiser, Sheldrup.
Yeah. How long is that kid out for?
Rollheiser and Sheldrup are already practicing, but they're probably going to take another week or so.
Because like he had a good preseason, the Argentinian guy. He had a pretty good preseason. And he would benefit playing on this team because I feel like he would give the outlet more creativity and probably like more attacking. Because like our attack, I felt like we just passing the ball back. Like it was no rhythm at all to our offense.
Yeah, you have two guys that aren't going to look for those like through balls or.
And I figured Roger would make a change in that area, but everything else I maybe kept the same. Surprised Otamendi got some late minutes. That was kind of weird to me.
Well, that was because of. So that was one of the topics later on, but people criticized the coach for bringing Otamendi, and it was. He was going to bring down Tomás Araújo's confidence. Lo and behold, Tomás Araújo has to come out because he had a knock, just like he did in Famalicão. He came out.
So it was a reason for it. I didn't read it.
Yeah, there was a reason. But people quickly jumped on the coach because people were like, well, he's showing that Tomás isn't going to play the next game and Otamendi is going to start, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And again, lo and behold, he was on the Bulletin Clinico. There was actually 8 players, Trubin included, in the injury list, which is interesting to see. Quickly, just before we get into the game, I want to run through some of these comments. Rui Marx, holy shit, shut up, Oscar. Jean Mario is a fucking sloth. This is going to get interesting. I'll let you answer that, Oscar. Hold on a second. SLBS, welcome back. Playing with 2 defensive mids is okay for Champions League. We're playing against top teams, not against lower placed teams, unless he wants to work the new system and get players used to it. I agree. I think Oscar touched on it, right? Having 2, especially at home, right? Like playing at home with 2. I wouldn't say Barreiro's defensive minded, but he's not offensive minded, right? No. Like he can cover space, he can press, but he's not going to make that pass, to split the defense. They're very horizontal passing. They're not vertical passers, right? Which makes it difficult.
It's
a safe passes, right? Yeah. So it's like you have guys that are going to give you that confidence and stability with the ball, right? But they're not going to create, that pass where, now you've got numbers against the back line of the opposing team, right? It's very much side to side, and maybe you'll get one, lucky pass that gets through, but they're not vertical passers. Rui Marx says should have sold him last year for 25 million in terms of Morato. I agree. They also rumors that they got an offer this year. I can't remember who the heck it was from.
I saw it too, but I can't remember who it was either.
I think it was 15 million or something like that. But rumors again are that Benfica didn't want to get rid of him. I would say, right, if you get rid of him, you're stuck with 3 center backs, and that's probably too short considering the Champions League format is different. There's more games. You've
Plus
got the Club World Cup. Yeah, so I would say going into the season with 3 center backs is a bit risky. But at that point, is Morato's head in the game, right? Being 3rd or 4th option.
Well, the only thing that's going for Morato, I think he's the only out of the center backs that's a lefty.
Lefty, yeah.
So if he got his head straight back in the game, to be honest with you, I didn't like Otamendi going for the Olympics. I wouldn't have started him for the first. I would give the other guys a shot. And thinking Otamendi's last season is this year, I don't think he's going to stay an extra season after this. And he's made many mistakes. Last year's probably a center back that made the most mistakes. Mm-hmm. I would have given those young guys a shot this year, and then have Otamendi come in with experience.
So far he has.
So far he has. We'll see what happens next game. Right. But because of Otamendi's age, and because of the other 3 center backs that we have, I'm assuming that's the reason why Benfica allowed him to go, whereas Trubin wanted to go, and Benfica said no because
we have no cover.
Backups for Trubin aren't at the level that Trubin is at, right? So it'd be curious to see if Tomás Araújo is fit for this weekend's game, if he starts the center backs again, or if Otamendi comes in, right? And I think that'll tell us, right? Is Otamendi going to be a player that is going to understand that he's on his way out and we need to give some of these young guys more minutes? Or is it going to be Otamendi's my guy and he's going to play every week, right?
I thought Silva was hurt, not Araújo.
No, Tomás Araújo came out with a knock. He came out against Famalicão too, same thing.
For some reason, I thought that during the game that Antonio Silva had he was holding onto his back of his leg or something like that on one with the sliding tackles.
I don't know. Tomás. That's the reason why Tomás Araújo came out. He had a knock, so he pulled him out. Yeah. Rui says Tomás has got speed. He does. He's pretty quick. His ability to cover ground is quite impressive. Something you don't often see for a center back, but it is a good characteristic to have. SLBS says Morato's a fine player, but not quite as good as Tomás or Antonio. Vespa the Wheelie Zoo says Otamendi's the only one that can have slips and mess ups. I think he's being ironic, but touches on what Oscar said right last year. I think we all agree Otamendi has his mistakes. Against Sporting, that he had a disastrous. He looked like an 18-year-old going up in that play. It's like, dude, with the experience you have, what the hell are you thinking? SLBS, we got too many I'm assuming positions in the center, roosters in the center back position. We need 3 starters and 1 kid from the B team. I'm assuming he's talking about old players, but we don't have. Explain that for me, SLBS.
I think what he's trying to say is typo. I think he's trying to say we have a lot of that's kind of how I view it too. I think the center back position, even though Morato has made a lot of mistakes, if he plays in a game, I kind of trust it. Obviously he's not as much as the others, but I think he's a solid player. And I actually have a question. Do you think we're going to sell one of the center backs before possibly, or loan one out, or who knows?
Kenny, you want to take that?
No, I would think that with Otamendi on the way out, that they're grooming the next pairing, and Antonio Silva could get sold at any point in time too. So,
but I feel Otamendi's been in that position for 2 years now.
I think this is his last year. I doubt they renovate with him.
And
I would be surprised.
Yeah. So does it seem like we might have too many center backs? But next year you could be down to literally 2. So
yeah, I think Antonio is. I know what roosters are galus, but I'm trying to understand what the reference is to the players.
Maybe they talk too much.
I know a rooster's a gallo. I'm just trying to figure out what the reference is in terms of the center backs.
I agree. You only need one rooster back there, and the rest quero galinhas.
Yeah, quero galinhas. Un gallo y el resto galinhas. That's it. I'm of the opinion that I think Otamendi potentially leaves in January. I think maybe a move like the MLS. I think a potential move maybe back to Argentina. I'd be surprised if he stays the whole season, but I think that'll also depend on the fitness of the other center backs. I think that'll also depend on how Benfica season's going. If Roger Schmidt is still there in January, right? So I think there's a lot of incognitos between now and the transfer window. But I do think today of our center backs, Antonio Silva is probably one that could potentially be sold in the 11th hour of the transfer window. I would hope that we're able to hold on to him with some of the sales that we've already made. But you just never know.
Depends on the Champions League campaign, right?
Yeah. Well, we won't have started until that won't. Yeah. I'm saying at the end of August.
Oh, at the end of August. Yeah. Okay.
Vespa Luis says just letting Otamendi leave would save us a lot of money. Yeah, from a salary perspective, it would save us a lot of money. And SLB, yes, agrees with you, Oscar. Un galo y resto galinhas. That's it. Jay, thoughts on the game in itself, right? It took us till the 70th minute to get on the board. Very slow. What do you take away from this game?
First half sucked. Second half, once he made the subs, we're good. I think he made the right choices. I think I mentioned that on the chat. He made the right subs last year. I feel like that's an area where he struggled. But I'm not gonna lie, I was screaming for a sub at like the 55th minute. I was watching the game with my dad. I was like, dude, make a fucking sub. I'm just sitting there. And even my dad was agreeing with me. He's like, this guy's just não fica lá sentado fazendo nada. And finally, I feel like the 3 subs that he brought in changed the game. Even Marcos Leonardo didn't get on the score sheet, but I think he should have scored one. Yeah, he had one that he made a good play to get in position with 1-on-1 with the goalie and just missed it. But overall, I think once those guys came in, Cox, who came in really well, made some great passes. The one that he made to Freddie was unbelievable. Thiago Gouveia surprised me. Wasn't too happy about that sub in the beginning, but when he came in, I felt like he put the ball right on the Greek Freak's head and he buried it to open up
the only real chance he got, and he put it away.
To be honest, like the first, I was like thinking back, I was like, in the first half, I think we only had a João Mario shot from outside the box.
And Pavlidis had one left-footed.
I was going to say he had a shot too.
Yeah,
but it wasn't
and
really.
Like besides that, like I felt like Casa Pia had more dangerous opportunities too, like to score.
Yeah, they had a couple of maybe 1 or 2 shots against Rubio.
And like I think even after we scored a goal, they had almost missed a header on the back post.
They falhanço. Big falhanço.
Like that could have been like that could have been.
Bob was sleeping.
It was like I think it was 2-0, and then I think it was 1-0.
It was 1.
It was right after we would have been back on our fucking heels again. So caught sleeping on that play, but overall, I think the second half, once the guys walked in, Coxu changed the game, Gouveia changed the game, and we got the opportunities and we scored them. So that was good.
Oscar, what do you add to that?
Shout out to the left back too.
Dude, Carreras played out of his mind.
I was just going to ask.
So good.
What would you add to what Jay said? And Carreras comes in for Best in the first half, who looks like he may have strained his hamstring. They're saying that he'll be back after the international break. But there's been a lot of criticism of players not evolving in the positive trend under Roger in the last year. There was some uncertainties with Carreras last year. I think we all shared that here. Of defensively, he looked a little bit shaky. Balls in the air, he looked very uneasy in terms of like what the hell to do. He would let the ball bounce; it would go over his head. His timing was off. In the preseason, he looked pretty good. Yesterday, when he came in, I thought he looked fantastic down that left side.
All right. So my feelings with Carreras is I really like him. Offensively, I think he's a Grimaldo. He's like a Grimaldo. Offensively, going forward, he's really, really good. It wasn't a good time to get him tested on defense because Casa Pia's second half basically defended.
Although he did have a couple of moments in the first half where he did come back and recover the ball. And, it wasn't like your typical defensive test.
Correct, but he's not playing a Porto Sporting where the guys are having a lot of possession attacking the ball. So he was playing more like a Casa Pia at home, which you're going to have a lot of space going forward, right? Or not a lot of space going forward.
He was basically the only ala play and going 1-on-1 with people too.
No, that's
creating chances and opportunities on that left-hand side.
I totally agree. But to me, Carreras is a player that if he's given confidence, I think he can be in the next Grimaldo. I really do think so.
I think they have a very similar characteristic.
I agree. I agree, but Grimaldo at the beginning didn't have confidence and he looked shaky as fuck too. And then when he got confident, dude, it was like the superstar. And I think Carreras needs that, and I think he needs the coach to, instead of putting a center back over him like he did last year, he needs to give him the chances to make a few mistakes, but to get continuity so he can develop into what we think he's able to develop to. So I think it was a good choice to get him in. I think he doesn't lose his lineup. If he plays the way he played yesterday on Saturday, it's going to be very hard for Betts to come in and take his spot again. And then and then I agree with Jay. I think the subs were right, and although I don't think he had many choices, I think I called them before he made them. I don't know if you guys were in the chat. I called exactly 3 subs he was going to make, and the 3 subs came in, and because the choices we didn't have many. Like if now there was the Di Maria available, if there was a Neres available, if there was then those subs, Gouveia probably wouldn't have come in and change that game.
Yep.
So that only subs available is what you put in, other than Renato or coming in, which I don't think would have been a smart idea to put him on the right side because it would basically be adapting players again. So I think Gouveia was the right choice for the right side. Well, he didn't go to the right side; he actually went to the left.
To the left, and Arsenal came to the right. But do you think, right? You mentioned Renato, and I'll ask this to you, Oscar, and Kenny as well. Just because Kenny didn't get a chance to watch the game, so I want to keep things more generic for him. But in a time where there's a lot of uneasiness, and I mean, let's face it, right? There's a lot of toxic mindsets towards the coach, right? Whether you're right or wrong, I don't care, right? Everyone's entitled to their opinion. There's limits, whatever. But at a time where Benfica was really struggling to kind of break them down, right? Like you said, we had the ball. Apart from 1 or 2 chances from Casa Pia before we scored, but they weren't like clear-cut chances. They had a shot here, shot there. Benfica was struggling to break it down. And the fans starting to get a little bit uneasy. There was a fight in the stands at halftime. Do you think, like for me, I look at it like I kind of commend Roger Schmidt because I feel like it would have been an easy substitution for him to bring in a guy like Renato, a guy from the Seychelles that we brought back, right? And him coming in could have potentially maybe given the fans a lift, like, all right, he's bringing this kid in, although he may have not fit into what we needed at that time. Do you think it was probably easier for him to bring in Renato than to make the changes that he did?
Not me?
Either you or Kenny, whoever wants to go.
I mean, it would have been easier because the fans would have, but I don't think it would have been the right choice just because just came to the squad. He had probably 3-4 days of training with them. It would have made absolutely no sense to bring Renato in at this point. And to me, putting Renato in right away just because we're tied 0-0 on the 65th minute is basically saying I don't know what to do. So I'm just gonna throw something out.
It's like what Mike said.
I reached the point where I was like, "What the hell is going on?" Just throw Renato in there because I didn't know what was going on.
So that's what I'm saying, right? So like that change, I feel like that change maybe would have grabbed some people in and been like, "All right, we got Renato in here, right? Like he's finally back home, all right." Like I feel like that could have been an easy change for him to at least pull some people in. Kenny, do you agree?
100%. Yeah, that would be the only reason to bring him in, right? To get more of the fans on his side. I think that the fan base is I mean, I feel like we're kind of seeing the same thing we were seeing last year, right? The same old with the slow play, the not as offensive as we'd like to see. So the fans getting frustrated is just stemming from what we were used to at the last season. So you're right. I think that would have been an opportunity for Roger to get some people on his side by making that type of sub, but like Oscar said, it would made of no tactical sense for that game. But in regards to the other subs, I didn't catch the game, but I have a question for you guys? As in like Oscar said, these subs seem to be the only real changes that Roger could have made tactically on the field to try to win the game. But do you think that Roger got lucky, or what were these like? Are these the type of changes that could happen every game to get that type of result? Like, do you guys believe in Thiago Gouveia? Do you guys believe in who else came in? I mean, I guess Coxu,
Leonardo.
I mean, I've seen enough of Coxu to kind of just say he's just another player. Like, yeah, they did change the game. It did pan out well, but did was it just this game? Like, do you think it's just by chance it happened? They got the victory. They were considered good subs, or is this like what we're going to see moving forward? Like, do you guys believe in the Thiago Gouveas and the Coxes?
I'm going to let Jay go first on the Gouveia because I know he's a Seychelles guy.
I don't have the utmost confidence in like Champions League, I would say, but like against these smaller teams, I would. I guess to me, it all depends on the matchup. I'd rather have a Neds than a Gouveia, even though we sold him. But you know what I mean? Like that could have been an option if we weren't trying to sell him. Like I don't have I think he made the right subs at the right time. I think timing also has something to do with it. Gives like I'm usually a good guy, like a guy that wants to sub like around the 60th minute. Give like the main sub that you're gonna put in 30 minutes of the game, so he can kind of get used to the game and try to make a difference. I think we threw him in around the 63rd, 64th minute. We made the subs.
65th.
Gave the guys like enough time overall in the whole game, and they made the change. Do I believe in the Gouveias against small teams? Yes, but Champions League, that's a different story.
And before Bill and Oscar answer, I'd just say quickly, I think I've been a fan. I've been very vocal of, I think if a club like Benfica has a squad properly built with balance, I don't think a guy like Thiago Gouveia today fits into that squad. With that said, I will also say that sometimes you need in the squad guys like Thiago Gouveia. Why? Because he knows his role. He knows his function. He doesn't seem like a guy that's going to go out there and cause a fuss because he only got 10 minutes here and got, 15 minutes there and 12 minutes there, right? So like having a squad, right? You've got 18, 20, 22 players, right? And they all need to know what their function is, right? And I think that's one thing that I will put my hand up and applaud him for is even his press conferences after the match. Last year was the same thing. He did it again this weekend after the game, right? Where he just comes in and says, listen, like I come here to work, right? I know I need to work hard. I need to work hard, take my chances, right? Seems like a humble dude. And you need some of those guys in that roster, whether it's one or two guys. Do I think technically and ability wise, he's one of the best? No. But if you have a guy like that, that's not going to cause a fuss. He's from the Seychelles. He knows the team. He knows the league. He can give you 10 minutes here. He can play some League Cup games and give you some sort of impact. If we don't have to get rid of him when we have a spot for him, I'm not opposed to it. But like Jay said, he's not a guy that like if somebody gets injured and we need him to start in the Champions League match, I'm going to be like, shit, I don't know if he's going to be able to cut it. But I think he's a good squad player. Bill, Oscar.
And that Almeida 2.0 or trying to grow into that type of role.
Fair. Yeah. Let's see if he ended Almeida.
Like try to grow into that type of
just
role.
Like his goal, it showed in the preseason. Like
started as a center mid and then played on the wing and then he played mid
as he came on started and one of our best.
But he could turn into one.
But he wasn't technically ever like our best player. He was he was just understood his role and was willing to do whatever it took to play and to help the team.
What Gouveia is to me is what Pedro Neto is in seleção. A guy that can come in and change the game, to give something different to the game.
10-15 minutes.
Because he's very direct. Like he's gonna get the ball and he's just gonna go at you.
And I'll tell you, like we need that garra from the player coming in. We need them to come chase the balls back and run forward, always running full speed. Not somebody like a João Felix where he's just come in and think I'm just gonna walk around. He's like a Chico Conceição or a Seleção or a Pedro Neto where he just hustle nonstop. And we need that. A lot of times we need that from a utility player coming in from the bench. They give us like a different, like he just did this weekend. He changed the whole vibe of the game. The game was slow, and his garra made the game speed up a little quicker. So I think that's utility play, like a lot of people are commenting, and like you guys said, is exactly what he is. And he can develop into a starter. You never know. He's young. So he can become consistent, and given the opportunity, he might become a starter. You never know. I think the garra might take him far.
I can agree. I can agree with that. I think he has potential, but I just don't feel like it's been unlocked. I guess the next year or two will tell us a little bit more of where he's capable of going.
Gotta be consistent with it.
Yeah. I want to run through some of these comments quickly. Rui Marx says, I'll pat myself on the back. I told you guys last year this kid's going to be good. He's tall, powerful, sneaky fast, long stride, and a good left foot. Tomás Araújo is who he's talking about.
I think
SLBS.
that's Carreras.
Oh, Carreras.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, I apologize. SLBS, and this is a question I'll post to you guys. Presti's got a good preseason in the center mid, but I'm still not super convinced if he's a winger or a center mid. And I'll add to that before I let you guys share your thoughts. Is Prestiani looked really good in the preseason. Again, he's still 18, 19 years old, still needs to gain some experience, still needs to get pushed around a little bit and kind of gain a little bit of that confidence and that muscle. I will say against Famalicão, he didn't look so good. But then again, it was a compact match from Famalicão deep lines, not much space in between the lines. And then, right, you don't have anyone else that's really creative or direct, right? So it's basically Famalicão's like, all right, no one else is going to beat us behind us. No one else is going to come one-on-one with us. So every time he gets the ball, we're going to just close him down, right? And force someone else to beat us, right? And João Mário is not going to beat you one-on-one. Auschwitz isn't going to really beat you one-on-one. We had Best instead of Carreras. He's not right. He's not going to go down the line like a Carreras will. But how do you guys look at this in terms of like, do you see him as that number 10 role with everyone else on the squad, or do you want to see him more out wide? Because when he came from Vélez, he was playing out wide. But what do you guys think of this? Anyone can go, and then you guys can jump in.
I think. Well, and I said this to you guys in the chat. Rafa left. A lot of that reason Rafa leaving is because Coxu made a fuzz last year that his position is more forward and more behind the striker, right? So bringing in a kid that is usually a winger to play that position is a slap in the face on Coxu. So keeping Coxu backed up in the center midfield might cause problems because Coxu's shown that he doesn't like it, and he's shown to be vocal about it. So do you want to deal with that again, or by putting a 18-year-old kid in his position or the position he's supposed to be playing? I think give the kid a chance in the wing, since people are complaining and whistling João Mário. Might as well give Prestini a chance on the side. Let Coxu play the behind the striker, and then when you need two strikers, and get Leonardo in. But I think Coxu needs to give him the shot to play behind the striker to see how he does.
Jay, Bill,
I kind of like how the preseason was going with Marcos Leonardo behind with Pedlidis, to be honest. Yep. I think people are sleeping on this Brazilian kid, and I actually really like his aggression and how he plays the game overall. So I liked what was happening in the preseason, and then he's like, I get the Argentinian kid, and I'm a fan of him too. He has a lot of good games in the preseason, but I didn't think Marcos Leonardo deserved to lose his spot either, because I thought he played really well, and the Grego was scoring a lot of goals with him paired up. I thought they had a pretty good partnership. That also leaves what to Oscar saying, Coxu being left man out and not playing that position and going back to center mid. But if it works, I like the partnership. I would run with that. That's just
and Jay. And to add to that, remember Renato plays that number 8 spot.
So I know, but to me, you got to find what works, right? And to me, that was working. So why would you fucking change that?
Now you play Tino or Barreiro with Renato. Where are you gonna put Coxu?
That's the thing. Like, I get it, Oscar. Trust me, I get it. Maybe
but you also have to remember
January. Like, maybe there's no room for him.
Coxu was one of the last ones to get back from.
You know what I mean?
Coxu was one of the last ones to get back from international duty, right?
And that also has
so
to do with it too.
by the time he got there, the team, like you would expect him not to come and slide right in. The team was already playing. They had the guys, the core kind of, and it's what he stuck with so far. And what I expected, right? Coming into the preseason, I didn't expect him to slide any of the internationals in right away because they were the last ones to arrive. But I think with the quality we have, and like in the league, I think it's going to be tough for Prestiani just because of his size, right? The league, they're gonna, it's compact. 99% of the games we play, they're gonna play 4-4, right? Slide one back. So you're playing like a 4-5-1, and it's just gonna be in that center of the park. There's no space, and I think with his feet and his pace out wide, I think in the league is where he might have more time to grow and kind of show what he can do. And like you said, with Coxu, right, and the ability that he has to play forward, and what we saw last year at the end of the season, where when he was playing in the 10, he did look a lot better than he did playing in the 8. But I mean, it's a good it's a good headache to fucking have, right?
And I don't know.
Do you think Coxu just doesn't fit at Benfica? Like,
it could be the system, right? Like we've seen it plenty of times where guys have come, they looked great before they got to the Benfica, and they like it just didn't click and it didn't fit, and they left and they looked fine. Like it could be. I hope not, because I think what he looked at when he was at Feyenoord, right? I think that's the player we all were hoping we'd get, and
but the thing that confuses me on this is, like, he was explicitly asked for by Roger, right? So like that's the part that confuses me, is like you explicitly asked for him, you knew him from the Eredivisie, right? There was the frustration of him not wanting to play so deep. Right. So it's like you would think if somebody was explicitly asked for and knowing his characteristics, that you would build the team to work for his characteristics. Right. And that's the thing that confuses me a bit, is like, why do we continue to drop him in a little bit deeper? And Saturday, right, while he wasn't playing the number 10 role, he also wasn't playing as a 6, because at that point we were pushed up more and Tino was basically the only guy in the midfield, and he was playing further up.
And I don't get why Tino just can't control that center defensive mid position by himself, and then have like someone else move up a little bit like ahead of him.
Like I said it in our
6 and then a 10. You have to have
said it. Yeah. Well, I said it in our chat. Like last year he didn't really. Coxu had to do a lot of that defensive work, right? Because we didn't have Freddie helping centrally.
Correct. Freddie was playing in the back line.
So, like, right. And I'd be interested to see Tino, Coxu playing that 8 on paper 8 role with Freddie out wide. Because at that point, you give Coxu the liberty to go forward and attack, with Freddie being able to do all that work defensively and get back, right? Like, I'd be interested to see how that kind of pairing would work, but I think that's kind of what we saw at the end of the game when he came in.
Yeah,
because he wasn't really defensive. He was.
I mean, he didn't have to defend at that point.
Right. Correct. Well, 99% of the time, that's how it's going to be at home in the league, right? We're going to have possession.
Well, he also changed the game. Back and forth. He came into the game when it was 0-0 still, so.
But we were attacking. We were all defensive. Yeah. Like at that point, we were just attacking.
Yeah, and Goal Point gave him a 6.4. Auschnitz was the player of the match at the 7.4. Pavlidis the 7.2. Boss 7.2. Carrera 7.2. Kenny, I want to ask you is, right, Oscar mentioned Renato. SLBS says here, Coxu's Weigl 2.0. Good player, but he doesn't mesh with our system. If Renato's fit, Kenny, do you think he's an automatic starter? Given the Renato that we know he's capable of being, if he's 100% fit, is he an automatic starter on this team?
Like the form that when he left Benfica the first time?
Yeah, like
I don't know if he's that.
If we see the Renato that we're capable of seeing, the Renato we saw at Lille when they won the Liga, do you think full fitness, everyone available, is he an automatic starter here?
Yeah, he's the starter in the midfield, absolutely. But I don't think he's the same player anymore.
You don't?
No.
So
why do you think that? Because he gets hurt, or because you haven't seen?
I think
he's played
because of his injuries, and I think his mental is different now, right? Like back then he was a hungry player. Now I think he's kind of just, he's happy to be back, and he's hoping to get that. I don't think he has that hunger in him anymore. I hope I'm wrong.
Well,
but I don't think.
Let me.
Oscar sat up straight. That's like in FIFA when you take penalty kicks and you got to cover your remote.
Because he left Benfica and he went to Bayern. From Bayern, he went to England somewhere, Southampton, I believe it was, or whatever.
Swansea.
And then from Swansea, he went
back to Bayern,
and then Bayern to Lille. He had his best season on probably the worst team out of all. That means he was still hungry. So he went back to Lille and had this best season. So that means he went there. He didn't walk around like Felix does when he goes on loan places.
I didn't see him. I don't watch the French league, but I just don't. I mean, it's just an older player now. I think every player, you lose a little bit of that fire in you. I don't think.
What is he, 28?
I mean, we haven't seen it in.
Oh, he's like 24.
He's like 26, I think.
Yeah,
Hold
so
on, I'll tell you
26.
right now.
That's prime. That's prime. If he's healthy, that's prime. So
27,
we'll
27.
see. Well, yeah. Well, listen. I hope he does have that same the same mentality. But I don't know. We'll see. I just don't. I don't trust players that come back like that. I don't know that they're just gonna be the same type of player that we were used to seeing.
Fair. SLBS says the 19-year-old Renato fully fit would be the starter in any team. He turned 27 yesterday, actually. So
yeah, so he's prime years right now. If he's healthy, that's the number 8 we've always talked about. That we need a number 8, a box to box.
So where's Koksu going?
Like I said,
plays the 10. I mean, that's
if he's fit, who's in the midfield with him?
If he's fit, I think we need Renato to do the running, to go back and forth and whatever. Like he gets lost sometimes on the field, but he just runs his ass off. And Tino needs to be the guy controlling the defensive midfield.
Okay.
I like Barreto. I really like Barreto, but Barreto is not a strong. He's not a big dude or physical.
He reads the game well, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole Koksu thing. I've never been a fan of him. I think we need to cut the cord on the Koksu thing. Like, the guy's had plenty of chances. I know maybe he didn't play like his exact position, but like someone said in the comments, right? Like you're not going to have the perfect condition to play. He's had plenty of chances to make a difference. He had a few games where he stood out, but majority of the time, whether he doesn't mesh with the team or not, I think like just cut the cord with him. Like, and Bill, you said it's a good headache to have. I would disagree. I mean, Koksu bitching to the media about his playing time or where he's playing is not a good headache to have.
No, absolutely. I agree with Kenny. I think that a lot of people have said back in the day is like some players are cancers in the locker room, and Koksu is one that raises the red flag to me because of his bitching. He has publicly bitched about playing time and at Benfica. So to me, he went to the media to bitch about it. So it's not like he does it behind the scenes in the locker room. He does it in the media, like for the
and
World
Schmidt's already got a lot of other shit to worry about with the fans. He doesn't need a player against him too, but of his own choosing too. On top of it,
that's a good segue.
Like you said, it's weird.
João Mario comes off the field in the 64th minute. He's been a player who has been heavily contested over the last year. His first year with Roger Schmidt was probably his best, if I'm not mistaken. And last year he struggled a little bit. He was a starter, saw the bench, and then started to come back into the team again. And then this year, 2 games in, he's played out wide with Di Maria coming back late, with, I think, Sheldrup being hurt, Rollheiser being hurt. This weekend he comes off the field in our stadium and just gets absolutely booed. And his reaction to it was he looked at the Benfica fans and applauded them back. There's rumors that after the match he went straight down the tunnel. I can't confirm nor deny that. I didn't see that, but that's just what I saw. Oscar, I'm going to start with you here because you've been a big defender of his. I know Rui Marx came in hot in the comments to start the podcast, but I'll let Oscar share his thoughts and then we can all kind of jump in and interrupt on, and I'm not looking for an opinion on João Mario, the player, or how he's been playing. Right. I think we can all agree that he doesn't fit current state, right? In his current form. He played there in the first year with Schmidt, but everything around him was functioning, right? And like, it just makes things easier to work. When the team's struggling, I think we then start to see that he doesn't really give us much more on that right-hand side. I think he's better central right now. I think he's more of an impact for us centrally. But I'm looking more for the fans' reaction, right? You're in your own home stadium. You're the captain of the team. And to get booed like that, and I'll just give my opinion quickly. He's not the one that is setting the starting 11, right? He's not out.
My talking points, asshole.
Okay, so I'll stop. All right, Oscar, go. Go.
All right, let me continue with Mike. You're saying. All right, so remarks. This is directly for you. You're an idiot. So let's start off with the elephant in the room. Absolute idiot. So like this is what I think about the fans that boo João Mario. Absolute fucking morons. To me, it makes me so mad to be a Benfica fan when I see shit like that. because, like Mike was saying, João Mario does not choose who starts, who doesn't start. We had no options to be on the right side on that game. So they're using João Mario to play there because he's the most experienced player on that position of the available players. So now what's he get for this? Our fans booing him. How this, like a guy that's given us, it's not a new guy that came this year to the team. It's a guy that's been there for years and has given us a lot. It's just almost like when PZ was there and he gave us a lot and people booed him. To me, it feels the same way. It's like why him? Why not boo the coach for putting him there? He's not a winger. He's playing there because he has to. It's almost like booing Morato last year for playing left back. It's not Morato's fault for playing left back. When
I did boo him.
What's that?
Boo the fuck out of him.
Who?
Jay booed Morato.
Yeah, but you can't, like, I mean, I can disagree with, like, oh shit, he's playing terrible, or oh, he sucks in that position, whatever it is. But I'm not gonna make a fool out of myself in the stadium and boo the guy when he's walking out after he's trying to play a position it's not his. All right. So people like that, I have no respect for, and that's me being blunt. I have no respect for people that boo players for doing their duty by being played on positions they're not theirs. Right? To me, is what makes me pissed off about Benfica fans, and I most wish Porto and Sporting fans were in place of theirs.
Kenny, you look like you have something to say. I'm going to pass it to you.
No, I don't. I don't have much to say on this topic. I'll say this. Look, I think fans have every right to feel however they feel. You know, just as Oscar feels his way, others can feel the other way. I mean, I've had plenty of times where I've booed players that I don't like, or that I disagree playing time wise, or why they're on the team. It's just part of being a fan. I just think, should it happen? I mean, that's your opinion to have. I mean, that's the way sports are. I mean, that's how people are, and it is what it is. Like I have nothing against it, but so be it.
You think that's going to make the team better?
I don't think the players necessarily, like, they're so used to it. I don't think.
But Ken, it's 0-0. Okay, João Mario might not be the phenomenal that we he
knows it.
Yeah. All right, he's not, right? But other players around him, especially he's their captain, might, oh shit, they're booing one of ours. Like, he's one of ours. Do you think a 0-0 that's a right team? It's going to push the team up. Do you think that's going to help the team win the game?
Look, I don't think. Again, it's like what's the saying, right? The small few ruin it for everyone else, right? It's not the whole stadium that's booing them. It's, there's a certain crowd.
That was more than a small.
I don't know.
You could hear it. You could hear it on TV.
And they booed him. There was rumors that when they announced the 11 and the coach, that they booed him and the coach.
Right, and I think I think someone just commented on it too, right? Like, a part of it is also you're booing the player because you disagree with the coach, and yeah, maybe the player doesn't have anything to do with it, but at the end of the day, that they're a team. It's part of sports. I truly, that's how I feel. It's part of sports, and that's just how the dynamic of the interaction is. It is what it is, in my opinion. I mean, that's my opinion.
My baby was crying at 3:00 in the morning yesterday, and I think Bill had sent a link about a Twitter thing. Well, some fucking guy talking about because João Mario clapped back, that it was so disrespectful towards the fans. I swear to God, I went mayhem from 3:00 in the morning until 5. Typing away. And then I came to a point where Twitter doesn't let me type anymore, so I have to do 2 messages. Dude, I was calling those fuckers every name possible. I don't give a shit if I got blocked off Twitter. I don't give a fuck. I legit was like going mayhem on those fuckers.
It is like passive aggressive. Like, he is being passive aggressive. Like, it's like
what is he saying? He's like, instead of booing, clap. That's what he's saying.
That's your interpretation.
Well, that's
or he could be saying, like, "Yeah, guys, real nice." Like, that's my.
That's how I would interpret it.
What's he supposed to do? Is he supposed to cry on the way out?
Well, Oscar, but that's the thing, right? You interpret it a different way than some other people do. It's like,
I know exactly what I would have done. I would have put my 2 fingers up the whole way up and do like a Ronaldo did.
And so and some people would interpret him clapping as like a fuck you to the fans. Like, yeah, real nice guys, fuck you guys too. Like that's how. How many players go up to a ref after they give him a yellow card? Like, yeah, nice job, ref. That what you're saying that he's saying like good job, ref? No, he's telling the ref.
How many yellow cards did you get for that, huh?
Dude, John Mari didn't say.
There's a different way of interpreting those reactions.
He didn't say a word. All he did is clap. Like to me, I see players doing that a lot coming off the field. Like when instead of booing, clap. You saw players when they were not getting booed themselves, and they go to the fans and goes, guys, stop this, clap. Ronaldo's done in the past. Dude, stop this booing, clap.
Only if he came out, he wants to explain himself. He can, but if everyone has their own,
the fans should explain themselves.
Everyone has their own interpretation
I'll be honest,
of that reaction.
I would interpret it the way Kenny said, like he's clapping back in a sense of like, yeah, great job, guys. That's how I would interpret it.
He did a better job than I would have.
But I'm not.
Whoa.
That's how I interpret it, but I don't.
I don't disagree with him doing it.
Walk off with my pants down and never come back in that field again.
Yeah, and I would have interpreted that as you just like wanting to show off your ass to the crowd.
Yeah.
Like,
believe me, I'll probably take a farts on the way down.
Jay, Bill, what's your take on this? What side are you on?
I don't agree with the fans.
I believe in the fan getting to make his own decision. Obviously, you know how I feel about PZ, and I agree. Like him growing up, he had some good years, but towards the end, he started to suck. It's kind of similar to the João Mario case now, where he had a couple good seasons with Benfica. Last year, he started to slow down. This year, I feel like to me, if he's on the team, he's a guy that comes off the bench the last like 10, 15 minutes to help control the game or something. I don't think he's a player that should be starting on the team. But obviously, sometimes he has to play because of injury or availability and all that. So, do I like the fan? I mean, it is what it is to me because I've booed the shit out of my own teams. Like, you guys know this. I mean, I yelled at – I probably swore at the TV watching the first half of that game, and I must have called them, like, every name in the book. And I even texted my fiance. I was like, I think I'm switching teams. I was like, this team sucks.
No
way. Porto scoring goals left and right. And then Sporting's just finishing scoring 6. And I'm like, babe, my team can't even score a fucking goal. Like, I was like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean? Like you say stupid shit, and as a fan, you have every right to do it. So if the fans want to boo, they boo. Like I've seen this year's Celtics team that won the NBA championship have a bad first half, and everyone in the Garden boo the fuck out of them. And then they came back and won. You know what I mean? Like it's
Oscar,
something like that.
No, I talk shit about Jason Tatum, but if I was in the
here we go. Here we go.
Is it not like the João Mario example?
Wait. I would never boo him in the arena. I would never do that to my team.
Yeah, it happened. No, but Oscar, what I'm trying to say, it happens. Like
that's booing the team. This is like this is your captain coming off, and you're booing him.
Yeah, but like you've seen different athletes get booed like left and right. Even if you're good or bad, it doesn't matter. If you have a bad game, the fans deserve to tell you that you had a bad game.
To me, the thing is, it's not going to help the team one bit. That's it.
Oh shit, that's not true.
Danny says João Mario equals Tatum.
Yeah, he came in hot.
Oh shit,
Oscar's left speechless. He doesn't know. He doesn't
know how to process it.
Oscar's gonna go on a rage on Twitter today.
No, I can give you guys another example. I mean, you got like, I'll say this too, right? João Mario had one good season at Benfica. One. He's not even like a player of like the youth, or he grew up with Benfica. Like he came from the outside. He had one good season. I don't think necessarily maybe a player like Rui Costa gets a little bit more leeway than a João Mario. I don't give that same type of leash to a João Mario. Like whether you're on one side of the argument or the other, I just think it's a different type of player. He had one good season at Benfica. I've seen different interactions with you guys. Some of you completely trash Ronaldo now, and Ronaldo's done way more for Portugal than João Mario did for Benfica. And Ronaldo gets fucking booed and trashed on every single time.
Wait, Kenny. I'm gonna interrupt you there.
100%.
I mean, I criticize Ronaldo right now for starting, right? But let's the difference. Like I said, I agree with João Mario not starting. I do. Like I agreed with PC not starting.
Sure.
I'm not. What I'm trying to say is the coach is going to put him there. What is he going to like? I told this to Rui Marx, texted me on the side these last few days, and I told him straight up, I'm like, if you are, let's say example, you Kenny, you're a Benfica player, you're in the locker room, the coach tells you, hey Kenny, I'm going to start you, even though you suck, right? Compared to the other players, what are you going to say? No, I don't want to start because I suck. Do you say that, or do you actually go into the field and play and do?
No, you're going to play, but that's part of sports, right? Some fans are booing the João Mario sub when he came off as like booing the coach. A part of it is like the coach
him when he came off, when they said
I know, but a part of the upsetness the anger from the fans is because Roger started him to begin with.
So they care when he's
just getting the backlash. João Mario's getting the backlash. I know it sucks, but that's sports. That's just how it is, in my opinion. Like some fans are going to take it out on him. That's the backlash you get.
I've seen subs where a player gets subbed out and the fans don't agree with that sub, and they're like Kenny's saying, he's booing the coach instead of the actual. I'm pretty sure that boo was.
You know the difference.
That boo was for João Mario. That boo wasn't for.
I'm just saying, but some people can interpret it a different way. That's
correct. Yeah, it's basically what your perspective is. Let me run through some of these comments that we haven't seen here. Vespa Luisa says, I'm sorry for João Mario. He got the same treatment at Sporting when he played in the national team and now in Benfica. Rui says, Oscar, I'm going to send you a box of tissues.
No, I'm not crying. He's the one crying about João Mario every game because he's going to play every single game. Bill's I'm already 2 for 2 on Bill. Right, Bill?
Yeah. Rui also says, if João Mario was that good,
we're in trouble this year.
That's true. I agree with that. Rui says, if João Mario was that good, Sporting wouldn't let him leave. Ruben Amorim straight up said we have better players in their academy. I think that argument of like if he was good, he wouldn't go here, wouldn't go there.
He was
really
Inter's player.
Argument.
He wasn't Sporting's player.
Yeah.
And the Sporting got mad. They came to Benfica. They did not want.
They tried to take us to court for it.
Yeah.
Gonzalo Montt. It's a new name here. Welcome, Gonzalo. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe and like button. I like João Mario. I think he's a team player at this point, not a starter. The clapping, though, it was out of bitterness for sure. I will say, I had a conversation with someone over, I think it was Saturday morning. Someone who is in the club, who works at the club, is close to the locker room. He's from up north, where we're from. And one of the things that was mentioned was João Mario in the locker room is, and these are his words, João Mario in the locker room is like one of the best players you could ever want in a locker room. He communicates well with the team, with the youth players. He's very supportive of them, helps them out, talks them up, motivates them. So I think that in part may be part of Roger Schmidt's, if you want to call it an obsession with him, is the fact that while on the field he may not be performing to the level that we saw in his first season with Roger Schmidt, off the field it sounds like he does a lot of work within the locker room, which could have value. I mean, we all played not at this level, but right, if you have someone in the locker room that can keep things together and is a leader, I think that goes a long way. But does that justify keeping someone just because they're, a good person to have in the locker room?
We all love locker room guys. We all love locker room guys.
I hope he tells Roger Schmidt, keep me on the bench, Roger. You're the coach, but keep me on the bench. I don't want to play. I'll be paid, but I don't want to play, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. I hope you.
Yeah, Roger. Wait till Roger leaves. He's gonna leave with him.
I'm gonna snip that out. It's gonna be a good reel.
I'm not against João Mario leaving. Obviously, I want Roger Schmidt to leave, but like, why are we blaming João Mario for fucking starting?
I know, dude. We know you're blaming Roger Smith. Your whole point,
that's the only person.
Your whole idea of blaming not João Mario was blaming it on Roger. So we get it. He's the one that he's the one that put him in that position.
100%.
He got the backlash.
They projected their frustrations onto João Mario. Is essentially what happened. Quickly to close out, transfer window is still open for another 2 weeks or so. Ned is probably going to be official tomorrow to Napoli. They're saying the package is 30 million with objectives. Some say 20 plus 10, some say 25 plus 5. He's going to Napoli. On the right-hand side, we're left with Di Maria, who also has an injury and might be out for a couple of weeks. We've got Rolheiser and Sheldrup, who are making their way back. Rolheiser actually played an essential role in the preseason, but he is capable of playing out wide. Cristiani can play out wide. Renato played out wide on that right-hand side in his first or only season with Benfica and Rui Vitória. So we have some options there. Best just got hurt, but he'll be back in a couple of weeks. We still don't have a right back, and in my opinion, I don't think we have a goalkeeper to really test and push Trubin. I'll go around the table here. Oscar, I'll start with you. With 2 weeks remaining, Ned's departing. Doesn't seem to. I know we're trying to replace or trying to get Cabral somewhere, whether it's on loan with the obligation to buy. And then there's rumors that if they do get him to go somewhere, we'll bring someone in that's younger with more upside. What do you think is missing? What business do you think Benfica should do with the remaining 2 weeks, whether it's outgoing or incoming?
All right. Man, I don't trust that we don't have a good backup for a goalkeeper. Do I trust Samu or who's the Andre Gomes, right?
Andre Gomes is like 17.
Yeah, so like that's the backups for the goalkeeper. I don't trust that. I thought we were a surplus on wingers, and now we're like freaking devastated on wingers. We don't have a true winger to put in there. Di Maria is going to be Di Maria, which is like last year he had probably his best season with injury wise, but like right now he started the season already injured, so you never know how he's going to recover, if he's going to keep getting hurt. He knows this is his last season at Benfica, so it could be one of those things like he might just slow walk to the end of the season. So I don't know, because Ned is being gone. What true wingers do we have?
You got Rolheiser. Well, you got Sheldrup, who's an out-and-out winger, and then you got Rolheiser, who played out there, but we tried him in the middle. Cristiani, who played out there, and he's playing more in a central role.
But these are players that have no warrant guarantees, because these are players that are basically going to be potentials, right?
Yes.
So we don't know. So if we have 2 weeks to go in the season and we have no guarantees on any of the players that we can
have no guarantee if you go and buy someone. Unless you're going and buying like a top tier guy.
Yeah, like when we bought Neres, we had a guarantee because we knew what Neres was all about. These guys are very young guys that are like, will they pin out? Will they not pin out? Cabral came in as a hot shot. Look what happened.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think our wingers now in midfield, I think we're solid with Renato. I think we have a good midfield with Barreiro, Renato, Coxu, and Tino. I think right there where we struggle for many years, I think we're solid. Is more now the wingers is where I'm scared about.
So you would say a winger to come in?
A winger is probably my best in. And then again, we have Ba.
You said a goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper and Ba is the only right back. Who else we have as a right back? Arsenis.
Yeah.
For me, that's
scary. It's Alpness. He's the answer for everybody.
But the thing is, with Arsenis might be a good replacement right back. But the thing is, we need him up front too. So
yeah, we need him in the midfield. Yeah. All right. So you're saying, what are your? Give me two must
I think a solid wing is probably my where I concentrate now. A solid winger that can get balls across to the strikers.
And what would be your second? If you could make two moves coming in, what would it be?
I need a solid right back.
Okay.
To replace Ba when he gets hurt. When he gets hurt.
Yeah. When. Jay, I'm going to go to you quickly, but Rui Max says we need a right back, a winger, and another striker. SLBS to stop the Neres madness. Get that guy on a plane back. Rui Max mentions Rafik from Studio Rafik Itan. He's a winger. He was mentioned last season. They haven't said anything else about him, so I'm not sure where he may be headed. Those are unproven. Don't know how they'll respond, especially in the Champions League in regards to some of the younger guys. Good night, guys. Take care, and thanks for the effort. Nobody really believes this team. Best with Luis Obras, y boa noite. Jay, what are your two positions that you would get in before the transfer window closes?
So just to start, I don't think we need a backup goalie. I think I like Samu. He's young. He could probably fight for the job as well with Trubin. I know Trubin's the number one, but I think he gets the push there. So if we're looking for two obvious positions, since we sold Neds, I definitely go winger. to find a replacement on that side. And if we're selling Cabral, I would like to get another striker, maybe like what you mentioned, a younger, someone that you could probably develop. I think Marcos Leonardo and the Greek Freak can play the number 9 position. But it would be good to have someone else there as well if Cabral leaves. And like the obvious choice is the right back position. Even though Freddie can play there, I think he's more valuable as a midfielder that can help cover. So if I had to pick 2, it would probably be winger and right back. But like I said, if we sold Cabral, we need to get another striker.
Bill, you agree?
Yeah, I think for the most part, right, the positions we need, mine are in different order. I think my biggest worry is right back. Like Oscar said, it's not if Ba gets hurt, it's when, right? Because his 2 full seasons, 2 or 3 full seasons at Benfica, he's been hurt, right? He hasn't had a full season.
Freddie there as a band-aid.
But the problem is we need we all agree the team plays better with Freddie in the midfield.
Yeah.
And
right.
Not in the,
I just feel like you need an outlet. Like you need a guy on the wing to go. Because Di Maria can get hurt, and then you're screwed. You're playing João.
I don't disagree, but don't
forget that Best played most of the season last year at Heidenheim as left winger, and he got like 12 assists. So he's capable. He's more capable of playing that position than maybe some of the guys that we tried to fit in there, just as a backup.
So you're saying Best is our new Auschwitz?
On the left side, I don't think he can play anywhere else. But
yeah.
Bill, to finalize?
No, the only reason I put right back, right, is we don't have anyone else on the team that is a right back. It's Ba, and that's it, right? Whereas on the wing, we have wingers, right? Yes, they're young. Yes, they're unproven at Benfica, right? They're talented. We've seen glimpses of that talent, and eventually they're going to be like, you need to give them the opportunity to shine, right? And I think Di Maria is probably our starter for the most part, and you're going to have these guys coming in and playing minutes, hopefully coming in and playing minutes at the end of games and like toss of games, give Di Maria a rest. But with Ba, there's no other, unless you're, again, moving Freddie, then you're adapting someone to play back there, whereas we have no other out-and-out right back. And that's my biggest concern, because I think we need Freddie in the midfield. I think Freddie in the midfield is a lot more useful to us than Freddie as a band-aid right back, right? I'd rather go get a right back and leave Freddie where he is.
Kenny, I know you haven't had a chance to watch many games based on what you've heard and what you've read. What's your opinion?
Yeah, but I do have an opinion on this. So if last year coming into the season, I thought we had a phenomenal squad, and it didn't pan out the way I expected. I think this year we're coming into the season, in my opinion, with a lot of question marks. I just don't feel like we have the like Bill said, right? There's in my opinion too, a lot of unproven players. We've lost a lot of like stalwarts within the team that we knew we could depend on. And I think this year it's like, I think there's a lot of question marks. I think the winger position is more important than, I do agree the two spots would be right back and another winger, someone that can take on players, can get up the field. We're kind of depending on an 18-year-old as kind of that type of player. I think that's risky.
And a 36-year-old.
And then the 36-year-old. So I think that to me would be more important because, look, I know we have ambitions in Champions League, but at the end of the day, winning the league is important. And I feel like for whatever reason in the league, we just play so defensive and so safe. Like we just don't get up the field. We don't create opportunities. And I think we need more of that creative player, winger that is hopefully someone that can come into the team right away and just be another Rafa or another type of, again, player that can create more opportunities. But like Jay said, also, if we do sell one of the forwards, then I think we have to go get another one too. Or, I don't know if we've got anyone in the youth system that can come up, but that, I want to see more attacking than getting another right back to. I get it. Bach is definitely going to get hurt, but Auschwitz can be the Band-Aid there, and then the winger that we probably, as much as Auschwitz is good in the midfield, I think a winger is definitely someone that we need to just be more creative, and definitely more creative than Auschwitz.
Can I ask you guys a question? And this is going to be one of those questions that like I've thought about and I've tried to criticize and all that, but how much we spent a lot of money in the last 2-3 years that Roger's been there, right? It's a known fact. We spent probably over 100 million over the 3 years.
Easy, yeah.
Easily, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me one player that spent out.
That he bought?
That
we bought while he was here?
Correct.
Freddie.
Auschwitz.
Okay, but he's not worth 150 million.
I think Ba's there because
Enzo.
Enzo is 3 months. I'm talking about like that's been there. That's
not.
Yeah, but he recovered it.
Well, Enzo was his.
Okay, so Enzo,
but this is the problem. Criteria. This is the problem. Now you're going to change your criteria to fit your argument that it's Roger's fault.
Bill, Enzo has gone to Chelsea and he hasn't pinned out at Chelsea, right? So
that's not Roger's fault.
But are we going to say that João Felix at Benfica wasn't good?
I'm saying Enzo was here for 3 months, but didn't help us achieve anything. Right? He was there for 3 months and he was gone. I'm talking about players.
He recovered a lot of that transfer bill though.
Yeah.
No, that's no money wise. I'm happy. We sold Felix.
As much as I didn't like the decision. Ruben seems to be the panning out.
Who?
Ruben.
I mean,
as much as I didn't like the decision, I got to admit
him starting João Neves and Antonio Silva.
Yeah, I'm talking about players. Dude, I'm not saying his choice. I'm talking about players he brought in money. Neves didn't cost us a penny.
So you're saying the players that he acquired,
like Neres,
yeah, like players like Neres, players like Ba, players like Coxu, players like Cabral, players like Leonardo. I'm talking about who has been there that he's bought for 150 plus.
Yeah, your dude, Gilberto, dude.
He didn't buy him.
He was left over.
No, I mean obviously he's had a lot more misses than hits. Right, but like that's every coach.
No, I'm talking like back when Benfica got ruined the first time in '96 when we got rid of a lot of decent players and we got in like international players like the Pringles, Martin Pringles, and this and Vonley Donks and blah 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 name-wise players is when we started sucking bad. We had 10 years to recover that, and now in my sphere was going to be this exact thing: getting players that cost a lot of money, and get rid of solid players. And then it takes a while for us to recover where we're supposed to be.
I don't agree with the cost a lot of money thing. Like things are just more expensive nowadays.
Yeah, I was going to say the market is. You're not going to find players for 2-3 mil anymore.
Like 30 fucking million on Cabral.
But how much money has he made Benfica on the players playing under him and getting sold? Like Ramos made 65 from playing under Roger.
Dude, but those are players from home. Those are players that cost we don't go recruiting.
They played under his
but he valued them.
That's fine. But then it might as well play the whole B team. Value them.
Yeah, but there's definitely been flops. There's been players that came 100%. In like the right back. I don't even remember his name. He came in, he played a game, and they got rid of him too. Jurasek, yeah, the left back. Yeah. So there's definitely been flops, but I don't agree. Like the whole we spend yes, we spend money because we have the money and we have to replenish the team. Like it has to happen. Like we're not a Spartan, we're not a Porto, we're not in that situation. Like we can spend the money. So I do want them to spend the money. Look, there's going to be flops like every other team. There's flops.
Kenny, we got a lot of money in for a few sales that we had really high sales, right? The Felix and Enzo sales were tremendous. No other team in Portugal had ever like dream of like selling for that kind of money, right? Mm-hmm. And I think with that money, we should have had a fucking PSG in Portugal.
But the thing is, you again, we're going back to you don't have any transfer. How many teams sell one of their best players every year and go get players that are able to fit right in and pick up where that player left off? It's not easy unless you're a Manchester City where like your pockets are endless and you can go get a guy, and even they will have. I mean, Calvin Phillips, They spent how much money on him?
And Jack Grealish.
And yeah, Jack Grealish. He's been but Calvin Phillips is the best example. They spent shit tons of money on him, and now he's kicking around. I don't even know where the hell he just went.
Ipswich.
Yeah. Right. So like, it's different. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but like Coxu, by all intents and purposes, was going to be a great signing, right? Top player in.
He was the MVP in Netherlands.
Yeah. Right, and he just doesn't. He's not panning out. Like it happens. Like you're gonna miss.
To me, it has a lot. To me, it has a lot to do with coach. I think Ruben Amorim Sporting is getting the right players in, and
yeah, but how many flops has Ruben Amorim had? Like, this is the thing that drives me nuts. We forget about that. The Ruben Binags of the world, the Fresnedas of the world. Like, go and look at the acquisition. Yeah, we're blinded by Yulman, great signing. I agree. Morita, great signing. I agree. Jokeres, great signing. I agree. Go look at the other guys that he signed that didn't pan out. They went to go. Condradi at Estoril. Where is he now? They paid 10 million for him. Where is he now? Fresneda, they paid 9 million for Condradi, the midfielder that they bought from Estoril last January. Who exactly? Who they paid 10 million for him? Ruben Binag, right? Our buddy Paul was talking. He's going to be the next best left back in Portugal. Ruben Binag, where is he now? Right? So I feel like we're blinded because yes, he hit 2 or 3 that were good signings, but go look at all the signings he's made and tell me, have all of them panned out? They haven't, right? But it's easy for us to look at. Jokic has hit the ground running. The guy's a machine. I agree. Yulman, great signing. Morita, great signing, but he also has had failures in his signings. It happens to every coach.
I mean, I feel like for some reason, like we're buying very expensive and very little of penning out, very, very little. So we're doing our recruiting.
There's also a premium for being us, dude. There's a premium that we have to pay. Like we supposedly can't buy players within the league because we have to pay a premium over Porto or Sparta.
We tried buying the guy from Boa Vista last year. They wanted like 7 million. He just went to Turkey for like 3.
So there's a premium for being us. That's just the way it is, dude.
Just to think, like right now we're starting this season. We just all looked at our squad and we're like, damn, we don't feel comfortable with our squad. For a team that had this kind of money to go into a third season under this coach that he had a lot of money to spend, and for us to be like, shit, we don't have a team, or our team is not as solid as we think. Some people in the comments said we don't even have a team to play in the UEFA.
Yeah, but Oscar, let's say like this, we're just at the beginning of the season. Who knows what's going to happen, right? This could be one of the best seasons, and we didn't expect it. Like last year, I thought we had a fucking fantastic. I thought we were going to fucking run house, and it ended up being an awful season. Yeah. So you just never know. You never know. I don't know. I just feel like there's question. Like I don't feel comfortable because I just haven't seen these guys play. There's a lot of new players on the team that and young on top of it. But who knows? Maybe we there's surprises here that at the end of that's what I'm going to do this year over what I did last year. I'm going to fucking wait and see before I make like a solid opinion. Like if we go if we go on a shitty run here to start the season, I'm not going to hit the panic button like I typically would. I'm going to wait it out and wait till things get deeper into the season. Then I'll come knocking on the door if I have to.
So if Benfica drops points on the weekend, Kenny's going to shit
I'm just going to be like,
chat. Yeah, right.
No, I'm going to sit back and be like, guys, it's early. It's early.
You guys know why he says this, right? Because he hasn't seen the first 2 games of the season. Yeah. That's the reason.
I have no idea what's been going on, to be honest.
He hasn't been exposed to it yet. That's why.
You're gonna be screaming at the TV within the first 5 minutes.
Bottom line, I don't feel comfortable going into the season, and like I did last season. Last season, I thought we had a deep squad. I thought we had players for every position that can make a run. And then we started using Moratu as our left back, and then we started using this as Arsenal as a right back. And then I'm like, holy shit, where is this going? And this season I'm going into the opposite. And this season I'm going into
confident, and this year you don't.
This season I'm going into it. I agree with you. I hope I turn. Basically, I'm opposite. But this season I'm going into it like we're at 1 injury away from everything getting fucked up.
Hopefully that's not the case, but hopefully it works the opposite way. Gonzalo says Schmidt shouldn't have that much saying in our scouting. We used to have a great scouting department to cover that. I mean, there's been some pieces that have left, but I agree, right? Like the ultimate decision shouldn't lie on the coach, right? That's why you have a scouting team, right? The scouting team, the coach can make recommendations. Hey, I like this guy, I like that guy. The scouting team should go do their work and then come back with an analysis of we think he fits because of X, Y, and Z, or we don't think he fits. And then it's up to the business or for the team, for the club, to make the executive decision of, are we going to override the scouting department or are we going to take the scouting department's opinion?
The Uber driver. What's his name?
We've also had our, like you said, Mike.
Just get Argentinians. We always hit on Argentinians.
Our scouting department's been depleted like crazy. Like
we've had a couple guys
2 or 3 years. A bunch of guys all left.
We could all tell.
Wanted to coming up on 90 minutes. We're in stoppage time now. We're gonna wrap it up. Wanted to thank everyone that was in the comments. We had some new names, we had some regulars, so we appreciate everyone jumping in and giving us their thoughts. Wednesday evening or Wednesday afternoon here in the United States, we'll have the Portuguese podcast led by Luis. So 4:30 Eastern here in the US, 9:30 Lisbon time for those of you who want to tune into that. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, share, do all those fun things on social media. We appreciate all of you guys. We will be back next Monday for another episode or therapy session. Hopefully it's a good episode and not a therapy session. We got Studio Amadora at home at the weekend. Hopefully we can get another win. And then we have one more match away to Moreirense before the international break. Roger has a very short leash. I think if he drops points in the next 2 games, he may not be back after the international break. Hopefully we don't have to have that conversation.
Hey guys, anybody, before we go, anybody scared of Nani on this weekend?
No, not at all.
Watch the guy. Watch his score.
Oscar's in one of those games. Playing? He came in against Braga.
I hope you're gonna boo him.
They got shelled today.
I wouldn't boo Nani.
They and still lost today 3-0.
Did Chelsea just buy João Felix?
Yeah. For like 60 plus 10 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
So now they have 47 players on their roster, whatever the hell the number is.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get him on loan from Chelsea.
Do you think that rumor was ever true? Do you think there was any chance that he was going to come back?
I think he was a last ditch option for Atleti if no one else would come knocking.
That was George Ment's propaganda saying, "Hey, listen, show interest so people can buy him."
Probably. I can't believe they got that much money for him.
Yeah.
But wouldn't surprise me. Let me just see quickly if your boy played today. Nope, he didn't start. And let's see, he did come in the 46. He came in at halftime. There you go, Oscar.
Hey, João Neves had a pretty good game for PSG.
He
did. He got 2 assists. Yep. Let's see if we can keep it going. Gentlemen, as always, a pleasure. Thank you to everyone who's tuning in live or after the fact. Again, we'll be back next week, Monday evening. Have a good rest of your night, and Viva Sport Lisboa Benfica. Good night, everyone.
Later, guys.